On her first day of school, Xing Chen was happily walking down the street when she saw a boy waiting at the red light. Seeing that the seat on the back of the boy's bike was empty, Xing Chen walked over to ask for a ride. But oh no, Xing Chen accidentally spilled the drink in the boy's hand and on the person next to him, almost causing a misunderstanding. Before Xing Chen could even apologize or ask for help, the boy coldly left. At school, the teacher walked into the classroom while the whole class was being noisy. Seeing that the whole class was talking too much, the teacher decided to give the whole class an extra year of meetings. Hearing the teacher say that, the whole class immediately agreed without hesitation. A little later, the principal led Xing Chen to the new classroom. Xing Chen enthusiastically greeted her classmates. She talked so much that even the bulletin board on the wall fell off. The teacher assigned Xing Chen to sit with the class president. When she got to her seat, Xing Chen immediately realized that her desk mate was the boy she had met that morning. As soon as Xing Chen sat down, the chair couldn't handle her super cuteness and collapsed. I don't know what you all think, but Xing Chen was super embarrassed. When recess came, the class president handed out workbooks to the whole class. Unfortunately, Xing Chen was the only one who got a book that was printed upside down. After class, Xing Chen was filling out information in the principal's office when a student ran in and stole the comic book from the shelf, causing the principal's beloved robot to fall to the floor. Seeing something bad was happening, the student immediately ran away, leaving Xing Chen confused about what was going on, but she still got punished. Getting punished unfairly on her first day of school was just super unlucky. After school, the brown-haired girl was planning to go see the basketball game and maybe check out the cute guys, but she was stuck with cleaning duty. Seeing Xing Chen looking confused because the homeroom teacher punished her, the brown-haired girl immediately grabbed her chance. The girl asked Xing Chen to do her cleaning duty for her because she had something super important to do. Xing Chen nodded in agreement, unaware that her friend was asking her to do it so she could go look at boys. While Xing Chen was staying in the classroom cleaning like crazy, Qin Ge was cheering for the guys enthusiastically. Xing Chen was sitting in the classroom writing a self-criticism when the class president, Yi Bai, suddenly appeared behind her, scaring her half to death. To make matters worse, Yi Bai grabbed the notebook Xing Chen was writing in. Xing Chen angrily froze, but upon closer inspection, she realized it was Yi Bai's notebook. Xing Chen really wanted to hide her face in shame at that moment. When it rains, it pours. Xing Chen had already been unfairly punished by the teacher and was now being called stupid by Yi Bai. Xing Chen chased after Yi Bai, grabbed his hand tightly, and just kept laughing, just like a silly girl. Xing Chen was thinking she was so cool, but Yi Bai snapped her out of it. She didn't know how many hats she'd need to wear to cover her embarrassment. Even the next day, Xing Chen was still feeling down about having to write a self-criticism. Qin Ge came over to comfort Xing Chen, promising to find the real culprit and beat him until he was ready to be reincarnated. Right then, the actual culprit walked into the classroom. Hearing Qin Ge say that, he got pretty scared and quietly went to his seat. Surprisingly, the culprit even had the nerve to turn around and ask Xing Chen how she was doing. He also believed Xing Chen wasn't the one who broke the principal's beloved robot. Yi Bai understood the situation as soon as he heard him say that. He dropped hints to Qin Ge, so she would realize who the real culprit was. Getting the signal, Qin Ge went over to question him. At first, he pretended to be clueless, but after Qin Ge threatened him, he had no choice but to confess. Of course, he also apologized to Xing Chen for his mistake. Qin Ge made him go apologize to the principal in person, not just offer a verbal apology. Having no other choice, he had to obediently do as he was told. After school, he not only got detention from the principal, but was also forced to scrub toilets. He tried to be cute with the principal, but it didn't work. During class, the teacher congratulated Yi Bai on winning second place in the provincial robot invention competition. Not only that, Yi Bai was also the top student in the class in the recent exam. Everyone in the class admired Yi Bai. In contrast to her desk mate, Xing Chen ranked last. Receiving her report card, Xing Chen was dumbfounded, shocked, and almost fell over. After class, Xing Chen's face was still long with sadness because of her terrible grades. Qin Ge, who was sitting next to her, tried to comfort Xing Chen. Not only that, Qin Ge also revealed to Xing Chen the name of the crush she had admired for so long. After that, Qin Ge dragged Xing Chen to the front of Fang Qi's class and asked her to get the crush's autograph for her. The gullible Xing Chen was flattered by a few words from Qin Ge and ran to the classroom door to ask Fang Qi for his autograph for her friend. Seeing Xing Chen's innocent and harmless appearance, Fang Qi agreed to give her his autograph. Seeing that, both girls were overjoyed because Fang Qi was so handsome. During class, when the teacher handed out the tests, Xing Chen realized that this low-scoring test wasn't hers. However, no matter how hard she searched, she couldn't find who had swapped her test. Xing Chen was sad for the whole morning. At the end of class, Qin Ge saw that Xing Chen was still gloomy and came up with a way to help her find her test. That night, Xing Chen tiptoed to the office according to Qin Ji's plan. When Xing Chen opened the window and was about to jump inside, Yi Bai came over. Xing Chen begged Yi Bai to keep this a secret, considering they were desk mates. Xing Chen was only there to find her real test. Seeing that, Yi Bai didn't say anything and let Xing Chen do whatever she wanted. While Xing Chen was struggling with the window, Yi Bai quietly opened the office door. After that, they both searched together for Xing Chen's test. Just as they discovered who had swapped Xing Chen's test, the security guard came to check things out. Scared, the two kids sat still in the corner, not daring to make sound. Taking advantage of the security guard's inattention, the two kids ran frantically out of the school. When they got home, while studying, Yi Bai suddenly thought of Xing Chen. He felt like she looked familiar, like he had met her somewhere before. Yi Bai suddenly opened his diary, remembering his childhood friend. The next morning, Xing Chen went to question Zhang Tong about swapping the test. However, Zhang Tong firmly denied it, making Xing Chen very angry, but she couldn't do anything. When recess came, Xing Chen was planning to report Zhang Tong to the homeroom teacher, but she saw Zhang Tong was already there. Seeing Zhang Tong being scolded by the homeroom teacher for her poor academic performance, Xing Chen had no choice but to leave. Later, Xing Chen was strolling down the hallway when she ran into Zhang Tong, who had been waiting since the afternoon. Zhang Tong apologized to Xing Chen, hoping she would forgive her cursed friend. Zhang Tong did that just because she was afraid her dad would get angry if he found out she got bad grades. The kind-hearted Xing Chen immediately forgave Zhang Tong. On the way home, Xing Chen's spirit was still hanging upside down on a tree branch because of the bad grades. To make matters worse, after reading Xing Chen's fortune, her deskmate said some unpleasant things. Seeing Yi Bai walking in the distance, Xing Chen ran over to ask if she was like what that friend said. As a result, Xing Chen was scolded by Yi Bai for being a gullible fool. After that, the two kids argued like cats and dogs over nothing. Xing Chen also angrily left because of Yi Bai's stubbornness. The next day, Yi Bai and Xing Chen went shopping to prepare for the parent-teacher conference. Xing Chen was struggling to wrap the gift when a girl came over and asked her to hang the flag up high, way up high. Xing Chen tried to reach it, but couldn't, and finally fell backward. Fortunately, Yi Bai ran over in time to catch her. But Yi Bai's hand was all skin and bones, causing Xing Chen's back to hurt. To make up for it, Yi Bai promised to help her solve the problems at the parent-teacher conference. Hearing this, Xing Chen immediately did a 180-degree turn and thanked Yi Bai profusely. The next day, when the parent-teacher conference ended, Xing Chen waited for Yi Bai at the bike parking area, and then the two of them went to visit her grandma. The road to Xing Chen's grandma's house had a steep hill, making Yi Bai tired pushing the bike. Yi Bai pushed the bike until he was exhausted, and Xing Chen only helped him a little. When they got to Xing Chen's grandma's house, Yi Bai casually talked about his desk mate's academic situation. Although he knew Yi Bai was telling the truth, he was too honest, making Xing Chen a little embarrassed. After that, the two went to Xing Chen's room to look around. Seeing that Xing Chen liked to study astronomy, Yi Bai claimed that Xing Chen was born under the comet star because no one in the world was more unlucky than her. After that, Xing Chen went downstairs to get hard-boiled eggs to offer Yi Bai. Yi Bai tried to refuse, but Xing Chen sat next to him and forced him to eat them. Usually, if you eat too fast, you get food on your face, but Yi Bai ate too fast and choked. Yi Bai pointed, wanting Xing Chen to get him some water, but the silly girl didn't understand. Xing Chen ran behind Yi Bai and gave him a few elbows to the back to help him stop choking, but it didn't work. Xing Chen then lifted Yi Bai upside down and repeatedly pressed on his chest, almost suffocating him. It wasn't until much later that Yi Bai escaped Xing Chen's evil clutches to get a drink of water. After regaining his senses, Yi Bai realized that the saying that Xing Chen was born under the comet star was definitely true. To protect his life, Yi Bai immediately left. If he stayed a little longer, Yi Bai didn't know if he could even make it home alive. When recess came, Hao Tan came to class to give Xing Chen some comics she liked, then asked her to help him with his math homework. Xing Chen immediately refused and went into the classroom, ignoring him as he stood outside, laughing to himself. In the classroom, Qingge kept asking her who that was. Xing Chen didn't say anything, just said a word that couldn't express everything. Yi Bai, sitting next to her, felt that the two girls were immature. During computer class, Qingge showed her photos of the crush, Feng Qi. The two excitedly screamed because they got to admire the handsome guy to their heart's content. At this time, Xing Chen suddenly remembered that she hadn't added Yi Bai as a friend yet. She turned to ask him to add her as a friend, but he refused. Qingge scrolled through Xing Chen's personal page and saw that Hao Tan kept commenting on her posts. Even Xing Chen was surprised by this. Yi Bai, sitting next to her, heard the story and automatically added Xing Chen as a friend, which made her not understand what was going on. Boys were truly mysterious creatures. Nevertheless, Xing Chen happily accepted her deskmate's friend request. Xing Chen originally intended to go to Yi Bai's personal page to admire him a bit, but Yi Bai's personal page was as blank as his name. It wasn't even half a photo, so how was Xing Chen supposed to admire him? When it was time for class, the homeroom teacher announced shocking news to the whole class. This time, the class would be responsible for the school's sports meet. After that, the teacher made the whole class prepare a super lively, super enthusiastic welcoming performance. Before the class could refuse, the teacher turned around and left. Having no other choice, the students had to work hard to prepare for the performance. The school's annual sports festival officially began. For the long jump event, Hao Tan wanted Xing Chen to buy him water if he won. Xing Chen enthusiastically nodded in agreement. After that, Xing Chen turned to Yi Bai and promised that if he won, she would write an article praising him. Hearing this, Yi Bai seemed to gain extra strength. In the end, Yi Bai surpassed Hao Tan to win the championship. When everyone went to the seating area to rest, they discovered that the seats had been taken by the students of Class A4. The two sides argued back and forth with no results. When the A4 male students were about to get physical, Imu appeared to protect the female students. The two sides argued back and forth, and in the end, Imu was reprimanded. In the running race, it happened that the two classes were running next to each other. Xing Chen's classmate was pushed down by a female student from Class A4, causing their class to lose this race. Back in the classroom, everyone was angry and wanted to drag each other to Class A4 for a showdown. Fortunately, Xing Chen stopped them in time. The whole class turned to ask Yi Bai whether they should get revenge. Yi Bai affirmed that revenge must be taken, but they couldn't use violence. Instead, the whole class needed to try to defeat their opponents in other events to humiliate them. Hearing this, the whole class felt their fighting spirit surge, eager to defeat their opponents. Xing Chen also volunteered to run the long-distance race. Yi Bai originally wanted to stop Xing Chen, but once Xing Chen made up her mind, how could Yi Bai stop her? While the competition was going on, Yi Bai took an injured classmate to the infirmary. The classmate gratefully took the hand of the crush she admired and asked Yi Bai to take her back to class. He tried to pass the responsibility to Xing Chen, but she said she was busy and ran away. Yi Bai awkwardly shook off the girl's hand and asked another student to help him. Xing Chen sat outside the stadium, remembering the cheesy words of the female student and wanting to throw up. Hao Tan suddenly came out of nowhere and gave Xing Chen a Coke. Xing Chen was about to accept it when Yi Bai came over and stuffed a bottle of water in her hand, then returned the Coke to Hao Tan. Yi Bai reminded Xing Chen not to drink carbonated drinks because it would cause bloating. Xing Chen thought it made sense, so she listened to him. After that, the classic essay that Xing Chen wrote for Yi Bai was read in front of the whole school. This essay was written by Qin Ge. She didn't expect Qin Ge to describe Yi Bai as a green frog. Yi Bai, after hearing it, was also surprised and dumbfounded by Xing Chen's classic essay. After the events, Xing Chen's class was still behind Class A4 by 5 points. Currently, the whole class could only rely on the long-distance race. However, just then, Xing Chen got a stomachache. As soon as she got on the field, two female students from Class A4 ran over to tease Xing Chen, making her angry. Getting ready for the race, Yi Bai thoughtfully tied Xing Chen's shoelaces for her. As soon as the race started, Xing Chen felt that her stomach was about to give out. Seeing her friends cheering enthusiastically, Xing Chen tried to endure the pain and continued to run forward. In the end, Xing Chen brought home second place for the whole class. After the competition, the whole class was praised by the homeroom teacher. When they passed Class A4, the group flaunted their victory to intimidate the losers. When she got home, Xing Chen was taken care of by her grandma and received a text message from Yi Bai asking how she was doing. What would be happier than this? During chemistry lab, the whole class had to do an experiment. The clumsy Xing Chen accidentally burned her hand. Seeing this, Yi Bai immediately treated her wound. When recess came, he even thoughtfully went to get medicine to apply to her. During class, the teacher announced that the whole class was going to visit the astronomical observatory, which made the whole class cheer with excitement. The whole class started their trip. On the yacht, Xing Chen saw Yi Bai standing alone, so she secretly took a photo of him. A classmate saw this and tattled to Yi Bai. In the end, Yi Bai went over, took Xing Chen's phone, and took a picture with her. After that, the whole class sang and danced together on the boat and climbed the mountain to the astronomical observatory. On the way up the mountain, Xing Chen saw Yi Bai walking slowly, so she ran over to tease him. Xing Chen slipped and was about to fall off a cliff. Yi Bai reached out to save her, but remembered his past memories. He panicked and stood there blankly, letting Xing Chen almost fall. Fortunately, Hao Tan ran over in time to pull Xing Chen back. It wasn't until Hao Tan scolded him that Yi Bai came to his senses. Yi Bai looked scared and could only apologize before hurriedly leaving. When they got to the campsite, Xing Chen was tasked with getting water. Qin Ge saw an opportunity to stir up trouble for the two of them. Qin Ge pretended to be worried and went to Yi Bai wondering why Xing Chen hadn't returned after going to get water for so long, saying that maybe the silly girl got lost. Seeing this, the teacher sent Yi Bai to find Xing Chen. Xing happily jumped around because her plan had succeeded perfectly. Yi Bai walked and walked, finally finding Xing Chen asleep in the forest. Yi Bai went over to tease her, waking her up. After that, Yi Bai apologized to Xing Chen for abandoning her this morning, letting her almost fall without helping her. However, Xing Chen was more worried because Yi Bai's complexion hadn't looked good all that time. After that, the two went to find a water source together. With his rich experience, it didn't take long for Yi Bai to find a small stream. While washing vegetables, Xing Chen accidentally dropped them into the stream. Xing Chen hurriedly reached for the vegetables, but unfortunately, she fell headfirst into the stream. Seeing this, Yi Bai waded in to help her get ashore. Yi Bai also didn't forget to scold Xing Chen for being clumsy and unlucky. At this time, Xing Chen was wet like a drowned rat and injured her foot. Yi Bai had no choice but to take off his jacket and let Xing Chen wear it. Seeing that Xing Chen couldn't walk, Yi Bai carried her back on his back. In the afternoon, the whole class ate, drank, and played happily together. In the evening, Xing Chen and her group were chatting when the teacher came over to hand out worksheets. Everyone had the task of going stargazing and then completing the worksheets the teacher had handed out. When the group went up the mountain to stargaze, Xing Chen suddenly disappeared, forcing Yi Bai to turn back and find her. On the other side, Xing Chen was walking alone when Hao Tan suddenly appeared, scaring her out of her wits. Yi Bai heard the scream and quickly ran over. Afterward, all three of them went together to where everyone else was. They'd only gone halfway when the flashlight battery died. Xing Chen was scared of the dark, so Yi Bai took her hand and led her the rest of the way. When they arrived, the whole class had been waiting forever. Some fans of Xing Chen envied that she had two handsome bodyguards, making her super embarrassed. While listening to Imu tell ghost stories, Xing Chen got scared and huddled close to Yi Bai. Afterward, the whole group stood together looking at the stars. When a meteor shower happened, they all made wishes together. In literature class, the teacher asked everyone to write about someone they couldn't forget. Hearing this, Yi Bai suddenly spaced out for a moment. After class, Yi Bai stayed to tutor Xing Chen until late and then took her home. To add to the romantic atmosphere, Yi Bai walked his bike alongside Xing Chen, making their way home a little longer. After arriving at Xing Chen's house, Yi Bai finally got on his bike and leisurely went home. That night, Yi Bai dreamed of the little girl from years ago again. Back then, because he was too young, Yi Bai could only stand by and watch as the little girl slipped and fell down the cliff without being able to save her. Waking up, Yi Bai sat blankly, crying and remembering the memories with that little girl. The next day, the teacher praised Yi Bai's essay for being very good and very meaningful. She wanted Yi Bai to read the essay to the whole class, but he flatly refused. The whole class was surprised to hear that. Xing Chen was also curious to know who Yi Bai couldn't forget. Xing Chen intended to take Yi Bai's essay to read it, but he suddenly appeared, scaring her to quickly put it away. After class, Yi Bai again took Xing Chen all the way home. Learning from his experience, Yi Bai made use of his bicycle this time to avoid being too tired. During summer vacation, Yi Bai's mother went into his room to help her son clean up and discovered a diary along with lots of candies and stars. Opening the diary, she realized that for years, Yi Bai had not been able to let go of the unfortunate event that happened years ago. Thinking of this, she burst into tears. At dinner, Yi Bai's parents advised him that whatever was in the past was already over, and he should let go of the past. Hearing this, Yi Bai said nothing, only quietly went up to his room. While studying, Yi Bai suddenly found Xing Chen's workbook in his bag. With his curious nature, Yi Bai opened Xing Chen's workbook to see who she couldn't forget. At this time, Yi Bai realized that Xing Chen was actually his little sister's childhood best friend. Yi Bai immediately texted Xing Chen to meet up. As soon as they met, Xing Chen led Yi Bai to her grandmother's garden. Xing Chen was curious to know who Yi Bai couldn't forget, so she asked him directly. Xing Chen also told Yi Bai her own secret. Previously, Xing Chen was visually impaired, but because her best friend in the hospital donated her eyes to her, she was able to see the sunlight as she does now. Unexpectedly, that best friend was Yi Bai's little sister. The necklace Xing Chen always wore was also given to her by Yi Bai years ago. Yi Bai also told Xing Chen about how he was haunted by the childhood incident to the point of becoming ill. When he sees a scene similar to the scene of his sister falling years ago, Yi Bai will feel fear, leading to the recurrence of his ADHD. Yi Bai also told Xing Chen that today was his and his little sister's birthday, and that his little sister really liked eating cherry cake. Coincidentally, Xing Chen also really liked eating this kind of cake. She immediately ran to buy a cake to celebrate the birthday of Yi Bai and his sister. The summer vacation ended, and the new school year began. This year, Hao Tan was transferred to Xing Chen's class, shocking the whole class. Hao Tan lent Xing Chen a lot of comic books as a getting to know you gift. Hao Tan liked it, was very fond of it, but Yi Bai clearly showed his dislike. In fact, Yi Bai confiscated the pile of comic books, making Hao Tan very aggrieved but unable to do anything. In the following days, Xing Chen always diligently completed all the homework assigned by Yi Bai. On some days, Xing Chen was sleepy enough to die but still tried to finish all the homework. The next day, Yi Bai had the task of welcoming his friend Ruing, who was returning from abroad, to visit the school. Throughout that school session, Xing Chen was worried and couldn't study. During recess, Xing Chen heard everyone gossiping that Yi Bai and Ruing were close friends. Xing Chen pulled Qin Ge to a corner to watch the two from a distance. During lunchtime, Xing Chen was still engrossed in gazing at her rival. Afterward, Ruing was led to the classroom by the teacher. She went to Yi Bai and gave him study materials and then sat there. Xing Chen angrily chased Ruing away. After class, Ruing asked Yi Bai to go study English, making Xing Chen a little sad. Xing Chen sadly sat under a tree, confiding in Qin Ge. Xing Chen felt that she and Yi Bai were like the stars in the daytime sky, or in other words, not on the same level. Qin Ge, sitting next to her, got goosebumps listening to her. Afterward, the two sat together, singing happily, and then led each other to the mall to buy clothes and get their hair done. After getting her hair done, Xing Chen looked like she had a mushroom attached to her head. Returning home, seeing her grandmother talking to her mother, Xing Chen sat in the corner eavesdropping instead of daring to come out and talk to her mother. After her grandmother hung up, Xing Chen finally came out, greeted her grandmother perfunctorily, and then Xing Chen dragged her tired steps to her room. Sitting in the room, Xing Chen quietly gazed at the family photo that she still carefully cherished. The next day, the teacher had the whole class draw lots to change seats. Xing Chen was heartbroken because she couldn't sit with Yi Bai anymore. Fortunately, her new desk mate was Qin Ge, so she was somewhat comforted. Afterward, Xing Chen returned to her seat, saying goodbye to Yi Bai like someone who was about to go far away. Xing Chen was sad because from now on, she would no longer be tutored by Yi Bai. Yi Bai promised that after school on holidays, he would help her do her homework. Hearing this, Xing Chen happily gave Yi Bai a sticker as a gift. She also didn't forget to demand that he give her a farewell gift. Yi Bai didn't know what to give, so he gave Xing Chen a pen that was running out of ink. In gym class, the teacher announced that next class they would be learning to swim, making the whole class cheer happily. Qin Ge and Xing Chen even specially prepared a new swimsuit for themselves. Xing Chen regretted buying a swimsuit that tore the first time she wore it. In the end, she had to make the excuse that her aunt was visiting so she wouldn't have to go into the water. After the lesson, Xing Chen went to the store to demand a refund for the flimsy swimsuit. Yi Bai saw this and gave Xing Chen a fancy swimsuit. The next day, Yi Bai shyly called Xing Chen to a corner and gave her the swimsuit on the pretext that his mother bought it, but it was too tight. Xing Chen heard this and was very happy, thinking that she had gotten a great deal. In gym class, Xing Chen stood in front of the mirror, engrossed in looking at the swimsuit that Yi Bai gave her, until Qin Ge dragged her away. Qin Ge knew that Yi Bai only wanted to make an excuse to give the swimsuit to Xing Chen, but couldn't bear to tell her the truth. At the swimming pool, Xing Chen stood there, uneasy and nervous, looking at Yi Bai and then feeling insecure about her short legs. Afterward, Xing Chen was pulled down to the shore by Hao Tan to teach her how to swim. Yi Bai stood on the shore watching the two play, feeling a little jealous in his heart. After gym class, Hao Tan again gave Xing Chen yogurt, making Yi Bai feel even more jealous. After class, Yi Bai again helped Xing Chen review. Seeing that Yi Bai also had yogurt in his desk, Xing Chen asked curiously. Yi Bai turned around and teased Xing Chen, leaving her blank and not understanding anything. In the end, that box of yogurt still belonged to Xing Chen. In computer class, Xing Chen asked Qin Ge if she knew why she liked computer class the most. Qin Ge didn't need to think to know Xing Chen's reason. Of course, it was because Xing Chen got to sit next to Yi Bai here. Hearing this, Xing Chen smiled like an ape who had eaten bait. At this time, Hao Tan suddenly texted saying he wanted to take Xing Chen home. Yi Bai, sitting next to her, felt a little jealous in his heart. Xing Chen turned to think about the cleaning duty for today. Before she could finish speaking, Yi Bai said that today he wanted to take her home. Hearing this, Xing Chen refused because she only wanted to think about the cleaning duty. Seeing this, Yi Bai turned away in embarrassment. After school, seeing Xing Chen walking home alone, Yi Bai rode his bike to take her home. Seeing Xing Chen coughing, Yi Bai worriedly told her to drink lots of warm water, as well as wear more clothes to avoid catching a cold. The next day, Xing Chen coughed a lot due to catching a cold. Seeing this, Yi Bai closed the window to block the wind and hurriedly ran to buy medicine for Xing Chen. Qin Ge, sitting on the side, also felt extremely jealous. After school, Yi Bai's mother followed Xing Chen all the way to the library because she wanted to meet her. She wanted to see her daughter's eyes, but didn't have the courage to meet Xing Chen privately. so she could only stand and watch from afar. After returning home, Xing Chen and Qin Gu sat chatting with each other. Because Xing Chen's birthday was coming up, Qin Gu wanted to know who she wanted to spend her birthday with. Seeing Xing Chen shy and bashful, Qin Gu immediately guessed the answer. Qin Gu also played a trick, calling to inform Yi Bai of Xing Chen's birthday, but he showed no interest. Although he said he didn't care, Yi Bai secretly saved Xing Chen's birthday into his phone. Knowing that Xing Chen's birthday was coming up, Yi Bai wanted to give her a cherry cake, but she refused, saying that her mother had already bought her one. That night, Xing Chen lay in bed happily texting Yi Bai, boasting that she was about to meet her mother again. Her grandmother under the kitchen also happily packed dumplings to prepare to welcome her daughter, who had not returned home for a long time. At this moment, Xing Chen's mother called to report that she could not return due to having something urgent to do. Her grandmother sadly blamed her daughter for disappearing for 2 years without visiting her and Xing Chen. Xing Chen, cleaning the house, heard the news that her mother wasn't coming home and was also extremely sad. She tried to suppress her tears, running to comfort her grandmother. That night, the two granddaughters made dumplings together, watched TV together, and celebrated a Happy New Year together. The next morning, her grandmother prepared an extremely large amount of candies and sweets to prepare to welcome Xing Chen's classmates. Xing Chen's mother, although she couldn't come back, still sent her daughter a cherry cake as promised. Her classmates who came to the birthday party gave Xing Chen many gifts. One male friend curiously asked about her mother, but the group immediately cut him off, fearing she would be sad. Afterward, everyone played tag happily. While the group was playing happily, one classmate accidentally ruined the cake Xing Chen's mother had sent her daughter. Xing Chen was a little sad. Yi Bai ran to buy Xing Chen another cake, but the store was out of cherries. The chef suggested switching to another type, but Yi Bai didn't agree. With no other choice, Yi Bai had to run to buy cherries and asked the chef to make a cake for Xing Chen. That night, when Hao Tan came to celebrate Xing Chen's birthday, it was also when Yi Bai bought the cake and returned. Seeing everyone in the house singing happy birthday, Yi Bai left the cake and the gift he had prepared outside the door and left. That night, Xing Chen went outside and saw Yi Bai's gift. She happily brought them into her room and looked at the cake and the gift that Yi Bai had worked so hard to prepare. While walking, Xing Chen encountered Ru Ying being bullied by a group of female students. Xing Chen then took out her camera and successfully threatened those female students, causing them to leave. That night, Ru Ying told Xing Chen the reason she admired Yi Bai, because every time Ru Ying was bullied, Yi Bai was always in time to help her out. The next day, Qin Gu happily boasted to Xing Chen about her fun date with the male god Fang Qi. Yimu, who was always smiling, eavesdropped on this news and was a little sad. Afterward, Yimu even became irritable with Qin Gu, leaving everyone confused. During practice, Yimu suddenly remembered Qin Ji's words and irritably left without practicing anymore. On this side, Xing Chen thought of the scene of being rejected by Yi Bai and didn't know how to confess to him. The next day, she waited for him in the bathroom. Xing Chen returned Yi Bai's workbook and shyly gave him a bookmark. Seeing that Xing Chen had nothing more to say, Yi Bai left. Xing Chen was so embarrassed that she almost ran into the men's bathroom, scaring Du Jiang to death. While cleaning, a classmate accidentally wet Yi Bai's workbook, but he only cared about the bookmark Xing Chen gave him. Yi Bai carefully clipped the bookmark to his comic book to keep it from getting wet. Afterward, the two went home together, under a tree in the garden. Xing Chen asked if Yi Bai had anything he wanted to say to her. Yi Bai gently picked a leaf off Xing Chen's face, making her so embarrassed that she didn't hear what Yi Bai said. Coming home, Yi Bai smiled foolishly while looking at the bookmark. In class, Xing Chen texted Yi Bai to wait for each other in the classroom after school. Seeing that it was late and Xing Chen was still in the classroom, the homeroom teacher sent her home. Walking in the hallway, Yimu suddenly ran to report to Xing Chen that Qin Ji's male god Fang Qi had a girlfriend. Hearing the shocking news, Xing Chen hurriedly called Qin Gu. Unable to get through, the two decided to run to the gym to find Qin Gu. At this time, Xing Chen accidentally ran past Yi Bai's physics practice room. Xing Chen stood blankly outside, looking into the room. Seeing Ru Ying confessing to Yi Bai, Xing Chen couldn't believe her eyes. At the gym, Qin Gu ran in front of Fang Qi and danced a puppet show for him, intending to confess to him. But before Qin Gu could finish speaking, Fang Qi rejected her feelings. Yimu, standing on the side, saw everything and went to teach Fang Qi a lesson, but Qin Gu stopped him. Qin Gu sadly left, no matter how hard Yimu tried to keep her. On this side, Xing Chen was also sadly sitting in a corner crying, looking at the card she had written for Yi Bai but hadn't had time to send. The next day, the two girls sadly came to class without the mood to study. What's more, the teacher lectured about puppy love, making the two girls even sadder. After class, the two were sitting under the schoolyard when they ran into Fang Qi and the girl he liked walking by. Seeing this, Qin Ge was speechless with sadness and pulled Xing Chen away. Coming to class, Xing Chen ran into the scene of Ru Ying giving Yi Bai yogurt. This time, it was Xing Chen's turn to be sad and depressed. Coming to the library, Xing Chen met Yi Bai. Xing Chen turned to avoid Yi Bai. Knowing that Xing Chen was sad about him and Ru Ying at the physics classroom, Yi Bai intended to explain. But before Yi Bai could speak, Hao Tan ran over to spoil things, and he could only leave. In class, seeing Hao Tan passing notes to Xing Chen, Yi Bai was a little jealous in his heart. At the end of class, Xing Chen went to Yi Bai to retrieve the piece of paper she had left in his workbook. Yi Bai suddenly became furious, blaming Xing Chen for not studying and only doing personal things, and then stood up and left. On the weekend, Hao Tan picked up Xing Chen to the car garage where he worked and taught her to drive off-road all afternoon. On this side, Yi Bai, holding 2 concert tickets, asked Xing Chen to go with him. Who would have thought that Yi Bai would accidentally overhear Xing Chen's grandmother say that the girl had been picked up by a friend to go out to play? Yi Bai could only stand there blankly. After a stroll around the city with Hao Tan, Xing Chen's mood was much more comfortable. By night, Yi Bai was still standing in front of her house waiting for Xing Chen. Seeing Xing Chen being brought back by Hao Tan, Yi Bai could only stand on the side watching the two laugh and talk happily. After Xing Chen went inside, Yi Bai called Hao Tan to a corner to talk. The two men had a tense verbal battle. After Hao Tan's closing statement, Yi Bai felt he had nothing to argue and stood there, letting Hao Tan turn around and leave. Coming home, Yi Bai still heard Hao Tan's words echoing in his ears. Yi Bai angrily clenched his fist subconsciously, as if wanting to punch the guy. The next day, seeing the scene of Yi Bai and Ru Ying cleaning the chalkboard, Xing Chen didn't have any emotion. Seeing this, Hao Tan pulled her to go get snacks so she wouldn't have to witness the painful scene. Who knew that when she returned, Xing Chen would accidentally overhear the conversation between Yi Bai and Ru Ying. Hao Tan said that Yi Bai intended to go to distant England to study abroad. Xing Chen suddenly felt a shock to her brain. Xing Chen couldn't accept the truth at all. That night, she sat and cried alone for a long time. The next day, Xing Chen was complaining to Qin Gu about love when they ran into Fang Qi and his girlfriend. Yet Fang Qi said goodbye to his girlfriend, giving Qin Gu more hope. Qin Gu again asked Fang Qi out and gave him food, making it impossible for him to refuse. Returning home, Xing Chen was thinking about Yi Bai when he suddenly called. She was feeling so spiritual that incense sticks would probably burn upwards later on. Yi Bai wanted to meet Xing Chen to give her study materials as well as chat a bit before taking the exam. Hearing this, Xing Chen hurriedly agreed. She ran so fast that she didn't have time to bring an umbrella. Yi Bai arrived at the agreed-upon spot but still didn't see Xing Chen because the silly girl had gone to the wrong address. What's more, Xing Chen dropped her phone in the water, so she couldn't contact Yi Bai. It was a terrible year plus a terrible sign. So unlucky. On this side, Yi Bai waited and waited but didn't see Xing Chen. He called, but she didn't pick up. Thinking Xing Chen had arrived at the library first, Yi Bai ran there as fast as he could, but he was a step too late. The two were unable to meet before Yi Bai took the exam. During the break, Xing Chen was at home all day teaching the neighbor's kid. Xing Chen also thought of Yi Bai wandering in the west. Seeing that Xing Chen was resting for so long but only stayed at home, her grandmother advised her to go out to play to relax. Afterward, Xing Chen asked Hao Tan to go to the mall. Here, Xing Chen accidentally saw her mother walking ahead, so she hurriedly avoided her. After knowing that the person ahead was Xing Chen's mother, Hao Tan wondered why she refused to meet her mother. Hao Tan advised Xing Chen to go find her mother, but she didn't know her mother's address. The clever Hao Tan pretended to bump into a shipper and memorized Xing Chen's mother's address. The next day, Hao Tan drove his brother's car to take Xing Chen to her mother's house. Arriving, they realized that they had the wrong address, and the two children were scolded thoroughly because of this. When the two were about to turn back, Xing Chen suddenly saw her mother happily walking with her new family. Xing Chen avoided appearing and could only hide behind Hao Tan, watching her mother walk away further and further. On the way back, Xing Chen was sad. To comfort Xing Chen, Hao Tan took her to meet his father. Afterward, the two stood talking to each other until it was night before they agreed to return. Arriving in front of her house, Hao Tan wanted to know if Xing Chen had fallen for Yi Bai or not. Xing Chen didn't hesitate to tell Hao Tan the reason she liked Yi Bai, shocking him. In the end, Hao Tan was only the person who came later. He sadly watched Xing Chen's back as she went up to the house. During recess, Xing Chen asked Qin Gu to go to the office to eavesdrop. However, Qin Gu was too timid and left Xing Chen alone and ran away. After being encouraged by the homeroom teacher, Yi Bai left. Xing Chen, lurking behind the door, saw Yi Bai come out and fearfully stepped backward. Afterward, the two sat under a green tree and had a heart-to-heart talk. Xing Chen still didn't believe Yi Bai wasn't going to England, but the truth was as clear as day. Although Xing Chen verbally kept comforting Yi Bai, In her heart, she was as happy as if she had found gold when she saw that he had failed the exam. The next day, Xing Chen earnestly wanted to celebrate her birthday with Yi Bai, but he refused because he had to participate in a competition. Xing Chen originally intended to invite Yi Bai to see the new movie, but she was too shy to say it. After class, Yi Bai clipped the movie ticket into Xing Chen's workbook and invited her to see the movie. On this occasion, Xing Chen could also hold an early birthday party for Yi Bai. When it was time to leave, Xing Chen boasted to Qingge, making her extremely envious. While walking, Xing Chen suddenly realized that time was running out. After a wrap, Xing Chen said goodbye to Qingge and went home first to prepare. When Xing Chen was preparing to go to the movies, her grandmother suddenly fainted. Xing Chen hurriedly called an ambulance and took her to the hospital. On this side, Yi Bai stood in front of the movie theater waiting, but still didn't see Xing Chen's figure. After hearing the news that Xing Chen's grandmother had fainted, Yi Bai hurriedly ran to the hospital and took care of her with Xing Chen until the next morning. When Xing Chen's grandmother woke up, Yi Bai was relieved and left. Xing Chen suddenly discovered that Yi Bai had forgotten his exam card. With no other choice, Xing Chen had to take the exam card to the city for Yi Bai. On the way, the car had a problem and had to stop. Suddenly, a truck passed by. With no other choice, Xing Chen had to hitchhike to the city to make it on time. Finally, Xing Chen arrived at the exam site to give the card to Yi Bai. However, Yi Bai could still enter the exam room normally without the exam card. It was all in vain that Xing Chen worked hard to travel the long road, even leaving her grandmother who was sick to bring the card all the way here for Yi Bai. After giving the exam card to Yi Bai, Xing Chen sat outside the school waiting for him because she was broke and didn't have money to go home. But because she waited too long for Yi Bai, Xing Chen fell asleep outside the school. After finishing the exam, Yi Bai ran back to wake Xing Chen up and then took her to eat to thank her for traveling the long road to bring him the card. Xing Chen, having gotten an inch, wanted a mile. Seeing Yi Bai complain, Xing Chen demanded to go to the Ferris wheel, which she had seen when traveling with Hao Tan but had not yet experienced. Yi Bai heard this and was speechless, not agreeing to take Xing Chen. However, Xing Chen only used a few silly flattering tricks, and Yi Bai agreed to take her. Sitting on the Ferris wheel, Xing Chen gave Yi Bai the bracelet she had prepared in advance, making him extremely happy. The school organized a young talent competition. Qingge also signed up and was selected into the round. After receiving the results, Qingge happily boasted to Xing Chen and then asked her to find fans for her. In the afternoon, Yi Bai was at home when Yimu called to report that Xing Chen and Qingge were doing something shady in the square. Afterward, Yimu pulled Yi Bai to the square to assess the situation. Arriving at the square, they realized that Xing Chen was helping Qingge fulfill her dream of becoming a street singer. Seeing Yi Bai and Yimu arrive, Xing Chen pulled the two to join the fun and sing happily together. That night, Qingji's father learned of the matter and angrily blamed her. Qingge, upset, went up to her room and called Xing Chen, crying. Xing Chen advised Qingge to ask Yimu to come home to persuade her father. Hearing this, Qingge had to ask for Yimu's help. After being persuaded by Yimu, Qingji's father was also touched and allowed his daughter to pursue her dream. The next day, Qingge came to class to tell everyone the good news. The group also happily congratulated Qingge for successfully being halfway there. Afterward, Yi Bai went to the library to find Xing Chen. While talking, the two moved closer and closer together, so Xing Chen listened to Yi Bai less and admired him from a close distance more. Under the schoolyard, Qingge was still practicing diligently. Finally, the day of Qingji's talent competition arrived. Although she wasn't selected, Qingge didn't give up on her passion thanks to Yimu always being there to comfort her, making her even more determined. At Qingji's house, her father was very happy to see his daughter suddenly studying diligently. That night, the whole family drank too much, causing Yimu to get extremely drunk. With no other choice, Qingge had to help Yimu up to his room. At this moment, Yimu suddenly sat up and said that he would always support Qingge and then kissed her forehead. Qingge unexpectedly gave Yimu a slap, knocking him unconscious. Due to the great psychological shock, that night, Qingge dreamed of that horrific scene again. Coming to class, Qingge was still angry with Yimu, leaving him not understanding what was happening. That night, Qingge was still speechless and confided in Xing Chen. After listening, Xing Chen realized that Qingge had fallen in love with Yimu, causing Qingge to shyly leave. The next morning, Qingge was still angry when thinking about Yimu. Speak of the devil, Yimu appeared, causing Qingge to pretend to be angry and meet Yimu. Yimu came to return Qingji's book and innocently wondered what he had done to anger her. Hearing this, Qingge was speechless and bluntly chased Yimu away. Yimu innocently saw this and turned to leave, causing Qingge to nearly go crazy. Yimu was about to climb through Qingji's window when she gave him a pot of plants, causing him to fall to the ground. Seeing this, Qingge ran down to help Yimu up and treated his wounds. Seeing Qingge crying for him, Yimu comforted her. Sitting in the park, Qingge asked about the relationship between Yimu and that girl. After hearing Yimu explain clearly, Qingge was still a little jealous. Normally, Yimu was stingy, but now he was giving money to a girl. At this time, Qingge learned that Yimu's father had given him money to buy new shoes, but it wasn't enough, so he borrowed money from that girl. The next morning coming to class, Yimu immediately guessed who gave it to him when he saw a new pair of shoes in his desk. Yimu ran to thank Qingge, and the two happily laughed and talked again as if there had never been a separation. During the exam, a classmate intended to take out a cheat sheet, but accidentally dropped it on the ground. Unfortunately, the cheat sheet landed on Hao Tan's foot, causing him to be falsely accused. The proctor, after discovering the cheat sheet, kept scolding Hao Tan. No matter how much the homeroom teacher explained, she still couldn't beat the chatty proctor. After being criticized in front of the whole school, Hao Tan went to find the homeroom teacher to explain, but he didn't pay attention to his words at all. In a moment of anger, Hao Tan announced that he was dropping out of school and left with his books. Xing Chen hurriedly chased after Hao Tan, but he didn't pay attention to her words of persuasion. In class, everyone suspected Hao Tan's matter but didn't know how to resolve it. It had been 3 days since Hao Tan came to school, causing the group to worry and not know what to do. Yi Bai then thought of a way for the group to review the video from the security camera that day. After Yimu distracted the security guard, the group sneaked into the surveillance room to review the video from the camera. At this moment, the homeroom teacher suddenly appeared, catching them red-handed. Of course, the group was punished by the homeroom teacher to run around the schoolyard. After returning to the classroom, Yi Bai was called to the office by the homeroom teacher, causing Xing Chen to feel a little bit of anxiety. When Yi Bai returned to the classroom, it was also the moment that the school announced an apology to Hao Tan to the whole school over the loudspeaker. Hearing the news, the group breathed a sigh of relief because they had helped Hao Tan clear his name. Coming home, Xing Chen immediately called Hao Tan, advising him to return to class. However, the next morning, Hao Tan still didn't come to class. Xing Chen worriedly asked Yi Bai to go find Hao Tan with her. But Xing Chen's drawing was too bad. Yi Bai didn't know what beautiful words to use to describe it. The two went to the garage to advise Hao Tan to return to school. But Hao Tan had decided not to go to school anymore. No matter how much the two advised him, it had no effect. Xing Chen was also out of ideas, so she could only angrily leave. Returning home, Xing Chen again asked Hao Tan to come to the running track at school. Arriving, Xing Chen forced Hao Tan to run around the gym until one of the two couldn't run anymore. In the end, the handsome but weak Hao Tan had to give up. Because he had lost, Hao Tan had to keep his promise and return to school. The next day, Xing Chen went to the office and asked the subject teacher for a day off to take her grandmother to the gynecology clinic. The teacher almost choked up when he heard this. When the teacher asked again to make sure, Xing Chen realized that she had misspoken. Xing Chen immediately changed the reason for taking the day off to taking her grandmother for a follow-up examination. When Xing Chen left the office, Yi Bai and Hao Tan were standing outside waiting for her. The two knew that Xing Chen had to take her grandmother to the hospital for a follow-up examination, so they wanted to go with her to show off their future son-in-law side. Because she didn't know who to choose between the two, Xing Chen refused straight away. Seeing that both of them coincidentally stood in front of the office door, Xing Chen was a little suspicious. The two young men had to make up a reason to fool the innocent Xing Chen. The next afternoon, while taking her grandmother to the hospital, Xing Chen unexpectedly discovered that the homeroom teacher was also there. After being notified by Xing Chen, the group decided to visit the teacher. The teacher gratefully encouraged his students to work hard on the upcoming exam, and the group also felt somewhat reassured about the teacher's health. After a period of review, everyone returned to their old classroom. While the whole class was tired, Hao Tan gave Xing Chen a box of instant noodles. The students in the class, feeling hungry, clamored to come ask for food. The teacher suddenly appeared, scolding everyone, and after finishing, he left Yi Bai to decide how to handle the class. After being punished, everyone returned to the classroom to write in each other's yearbooks. Xing Chen didn't have time to prepare a yearbook, so she had everyone write on her shirt. The next day, Hao Tan specially asked the school loudspeaker to play a song dedicated to Xing Chen, but she was in the library, so she didn't know what happened. Returning to the classroom and being teased by her friends, Xing Chen was still confused and didn't understand what was going on. In the following days, the whole class focused 100% of their effort on studying. In the last few classes, everyone looked sad because they had to part with the teachers who had been with them for the past 3 years. On the day of the exam, everyone had prepared a solid set of tools for themselves. After completing the exam, everyone went to the schoolyard to celebrate because they had successfully overcome the most difficult exam in their student lives. On the schoolyard, everyone threw water balloons together, playing and having fun. After completing the exam, Yi Bai immediately called to report the good news to Xing Chen. Xing Chen was so happy that she couldn't believe her results. Xing Chen also didn't forget to ask Yi Bai about his study plans. Hearing that Yi Bai would study in the country, Xing Chen jumped for joy. So Xing Chen had another chance to study with Yi Bai. The next day, the whole class came to school to take a souvenir photo. Seeing Xing Chen and Hao Tan taking separate photos for so long, Yi Bai angrily came to pull Xing Chen aside for a separate photo. With no other choice, Hao Tan could only sit on the side and watch the lovebirds. Qingge, not seeing Yimu, called him. Unexpectedly, Yimu had stood on the rooftop preparing a huge surprise for Qingge. Yimu stood on the rooftop and boldly confessed to Qingge. After being discovered by the homeroom teacher, Yimu started playing a game of cat and mouse with the teacher. On this side, Yi Bai was being scolded severely by his mother because he missed the opportunity to study abroad. Xing Chen happened to pass by and hid in a corner to eavesdrop. After questioning Yi Bai about why he had given up his lifelong dream, his mother angrily left. Coming to class, Xing Chen was a little suspicious of Yi Bai's decision. At this moment, Yi Bai's wallet fell to the ground. Xing Chen bent down to pick it up and accidentally saw a photo of Yi Bai and Jiao, one of her childhood best friends. At this moment, Xing Chen realized that Yi Bai was Jiao's older brother. On the way back, Yimu asked Qingge about her decision, causing her to avoid the topic shyly. In the evening, after returning home, Xing Chen was still sad as she recalled what happened that afternoon. Xing Chen thought and thought, but couldn't understand the reason why Yi Bai gave up the opportunity to study abroad. The next evening, the whole class came to Qin Ji's house to celebrate again. Here, the whole class decided to play truth or dare to express their feelings. Yimu was invited to drink by a girl in the class, causing Qingge to be openly jealous. Xing Chen and another girl invited Yi Bai together. Yi Bai accepted the girl's glass instead of Xing Chen's, making her a little sad. Seeing that Xing Chen had drunk a lot, Yi Bai had to take her home. Sitting on the bus, Xing Chen cried and confided that she had seen the photo in Yi Bai's wallet. Afterward, Xing Chen stood up to express her feelings to Yi Bai. Seeing that she was extremely drunk, he could only comfort her. Afterward, Yi Bai carried Xing Chen all the way home. In a daze, Xing Chen looked at Yi Bai in front of her and kept smiling. The next morning when she woke up, Xing Chen couldn't believe that she had done such an embarrassing thing. On this side, Yi Bai's father suddenly came in to advise his son to think seriously about his decision. Hearing his father say this, Yi Bai fell into contemplation. The next day, Yi Bai stood in front of the bus stop waiting for Xing Chen. The two went together to the agreed-upon spot to have a picnic with everyone. When the group arrived, Du Jiang intended to use a hammer to fix the broken table, but accidentally slipped. Xing Chen was almost hit in the head with a hammer, but fortunately, Yi Bai pulled her out of the danger zone in time. Hao Tan also quickly grabbed Du Jiang, while Qingge followed Xing Chen closely when she went to get firewood. Yi Bai expressed his feelings to Xing Chen and showed her a sky full of fireflies, making her both surprised and happy. Xing Chen intended to catch a firefly on Yi Bai's shoulder, and then the two moved closer together. After looking at each other lovingly, Yi Bai gave Xing Chen a passionate kiss in a romantic setting. Both felt unspeakable happiness. Seeing that the two hadn't returned for a long time, Qingge took the initiative to get up and go find them. In the dark night, Qingge was wandering alone in the forest, and Yimu suddenly appeared in front of her, scaring her so much that she huddled tightly in his arms. When she calmed down, Qingge angrily chased after and beat Yimu up. However, Hao Tan was smiling on the outside but crying on the inside, thinking about the beautiful memories he and Xing Chen had over the past 3 years. No matter how hard Hao Tan tried, in the end, he still didn't get Xing Chen. That night, when talking about the past, Yi Bai suddenly mentioned the friend who gave Xing Chen candy years ago. Xing Chen suddenly remembered and hurriedly ran to confirm with Yi Bai. It turned out that from childhood, the two were destined for each other, but the naive Xing Chen didn't realize it. Xing Chen was grateful to have met Yi Bai again. Yi Bai happily kissed her forehead, and the two looked at each other happily. The movie ends here today. If you liked it, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to give us more motivation. Goodbye and see you all in the next videos.